July 16th, 1945, 5:29 and 45 seconds in the morning. A remote desert in New Mexico called Jornada del Muerto, the journey of the dead man. Scientists are waiting in bunkers, miles away, some wearing welding goggles, others turning their backs, preparing for something that has never happened before. Then a flash brighter than several suns, a mushroom cloud climbing 7 miles into the sky, and with that explosion, humanity crosses a threshold from which it can never return. The atomic age begins, but this story didn't start in New Mexico. It didn't start when the bomb was built. It started 6 years earlier in Europe with a letter signed by Albert Einstein. I'm Keith Conrad, and this is Sidequests. Today, Trinity, the first atomic bomb, how a warning from the world's most famous scientist led to the Manhattan Project, how thousands of scientists solved impossible problems in record time, and how on one morning in the New Mexico desert, everything changed. Before we understand Trinity, we need to understand the physics. Albert Einstein, 1905, his miracle year, he publishes a simple equation, E equals mc squared. What it means, a tiny amount of mass contains an enormous amount of energy. Take 1 gram of matter, about the weight of a paperclip, convert all of it to energy, you get the equivalent of 20,000 tons of TNT exploding. For decades, it was just theory. Interesting, but not practical. Then in 1938, Otto Hahn and Lisa Meitner discover something in Berlin, nuclear fission. Uranium atoms are splitting apart, and when they split, something remarkable happens. The missing mass is converted into energy. But here's what makes it dangerous. When one uranium nucleus splits, it releases neutrons that hit other uranium nuclei, causing them to split as well. A chain reaction. 1 atom splits, releasing 2 neutrons. Those 2 split 4 atoms. Those 4 split 8, doubling. In microseconds, you have an unimaginable release of energy. That's the principle behind atomic bombs. But in 1938, it was just a laboratory discovery. Nobody was thinking about weapons. Except that one man was. Leo Szilard was a Hungarian physicist. He understood the implications of nuclear fission, and he was terrified because he knew Hitler's Germany now had the knowledge to build an atomic bomb. If the Nazis got the bomb first, Szilard believed, the world would be doomed. He needed someone important to warn President Roosevelt. Someone the president would listen to. He chose Albert Einstein. Szilard convinced Einstein to sign a letter. Einstein agreed. The letter warned that uranium could produce bombs of extraordinary potency. It urged Roosevelt to take the threat seriously. Roosevelt received the letter. He was cautious, but he took it seriously enough to begin exploring what this technology might mean. Slowly, the wheels began turning. Then Pearl Harbor happened. America entered the war. Suddenly, atomic research wasn't theoretical. It was urgent. Roosevelt authorized what would become the Manhattan Project. The goal: build an atomic bomb before Germany does. General Leslie Groves took command. A practical military administrator, he had one job: make this happen, no matter what it costs. Groves chose J. Robert Oppenheimer as scientific director. An unlikely choice. Oppenheimer had little administrative experience, but he had vision. Together, they built a secret city in the New Mexico desert called Los Alamos. Scientists arrived, engineers, thousands of people, behind security fences, everything compartmentalized. They faced 3 impossible problems. First, producing uranium-235 at Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Massive facilities used new technologies to separate uranium-235 from natural uranium. Second, producing plutonium. Enrico Fermi achieved the first controlled nuclear reaction beneath the University of Chicago's stadium. Plutonium production began at Hanford, Washington. Third, designing a workable bomb. 2 approaches emerged: a gun-type uranium weapon, considered reliable, never tested, and an implosion-type plutonium weapon, more complicated, more uncertain. Nobody knew if the implosion design would work, so a test became necessary. Trinity, July 16, 1945, 5:29:45 a.m. Scientists watched from bunkers miles away. The explosion, a flash brighter than anything humans had ever created, white, purple, orange, a shock wave that knocked people down from miles away, a mushroom cloud climbing over 7 miles into the sky. The implosion design worked. the plutonium had been compressed to supercritical density, a chain reaction began. The energy release was massive. Yield approximately 21 kilotons, 21,000 tons of TNT equivalent. Oppenheimer, watching, reportedly quoted Hindu scripture, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Within days, word reached President Truman. Japan was still fighting. Military estimates suggested an invasion would result in hundreds of thousands of American casualties. Truman made his decision. Hiroshima was bombed on August 6th. A single bomb, a single aircraft, 70,000 people died immediately. Nagasaki was bombed on August 9th. 30,000 dead. Japan surrendered days later. The war ended, but something else had changed forever. Humanity had crossed a threshold from which it could never return. We now possess the ability to destroy entire cities. Eventually, civilization itself. Nearly 80 years later, 9 nations have nuclear weapons. Thousands of warheads. The threat remains, but this is just the beginning of Trinity's story. What about the refugee scientists who fled Nazi Germany? What was their role in this? What about Enrico Fermi's first controlled nuclear reaction? How did that achievement pave the way for the bomb? What about the moral anguish of the scientists who built the weapon to prevent a Nazi bomb, then watched it used on Japan? What about the scale of the Manhattan Project, the logistics, the engineering, the political decisions? What about the 80 years of nuclear weapons that followed? The Cold War nuclear arms race, the near misses, the continued threat. These stories go deeper, much deeper, and we tell them in the full extended episode, Trinity, the Day the Atomic Age Began. It's a 60-minute deep dive into the science, the history, the people, and the moral complexity of humanity's most consequential achievement and most frightening creation. The physics of E equals mc squared explained in ways that make sense. The stories of the refugee scientists fleeing fascism, the incredible engineering of the Manhattan Project, the personalities who made it happen, the moral reckoning that followed, and 80 years of living with the consequences. The full episode is available exclusively for premium subscribers at newsidequest.com. For just a few dollars a month, you get access to extended episodes like Trinity, 60 minutes of deep storytelling instead of 10, ad-free listening, early access to new content, and the satisfaction of supporting a plucky independent podcaster. Go to newsidequest.com and become a premium subscriber today. That's where you'll find the full Trinity episode, all the science, all the history, all the context, because some stories deserve more than 10 minutes. July 16th, 1945. 5:29:45 a.m. The first atomic bomb, 6 years from a letter signed by Einstein to a weapon that could destroy cities, much longer than the 9 months it took Apollo to go from Earth orbit to the moon, as we learned earlier this week. Thousands of brilliant minds solving impossible problems. A test in the desert that announced to the world, the atomic age has begun, and 80 years later, humanity is still living with that moment. Still wrestling with the implications, still trying to prevent nuclear war, still asking whether the weapons we built to prevent one threat have become an existential threat themselves. It's a story of scientific triumph and moral complexity, of brilliant people facing impossible choices, of consequences that continue to reverberate nearly a century later. We've talked about the essential facts of the Trinity test, but the full 60-minute episode tells the complete story, the deeper story, the story with all the context and complexity and human dimension. That's available at newsidequest.com for premium subscribers. I'm Keith Conrad. Thanks for listening to Sidequests.